And see y'all back in 15 minutes. All right, thank you.
Thank you. continue to lie. Yes, sir.
Wow.
You know, oh, what a tangled web we weave.
Welcome back to opening statements. This morning, we are turning the spotlight on Alec Murdaugh. The convicted killer will now get his day before the South Carolina Supreme Court, as the court has agreed to hear his appeal of his murder convictions for the killings of his wife Maggie and his youngest son Paul. Now, his lawyers say that he deserves a new trial after jury tampering happened by the clerk of court Becky Hill, who has denied the allegations.
Did you ever instruct the jury to watch him closely immediately before he testified, looking at his actions, looking at his movements? Did you ever tell a jury to do that?
No.
Did you ever tell the jury to pay attention to Murdaugh's testimony?
To pay attention, not specifically to his testimony. I did tell the jury to pay attention.
To what?
Just generally in the hallway when I was speaking.
Not to him?
No.
Just to any witness?
Right.
Murdaugh's defense team now has 30 days to file their brief. A hearing date for arguments has not yet been set. We have a great guest I want to bring in now. He has represented 4 of the jurors in this case and some of Alec Murdaugh's victims. Friend to Court TV Network attorney Eric Bland is with us. Good morning, Eric. Great to see you. Could we start, please, with your reaction to the news of the High Court granting his appeal?
Well, you know, Alex and his attorneys always viewed themselves as the organ grinder and the courts as the monkey. But in this case, it's just an ordinary appeal that anybody would do once convicted of murder by a jury. So I'm not surprised that the appeal was taken. It's a little bit of a surprise that it didn't go through the Intermediate Court of Appeals first to get to the Supreme Court, but it's an important issue, the issue of juror interference, and it's going to come down to whether the South Carolina Supreme Court believes that Justice Toll, the former Chief Justice who heard the motion for a new trial, was correct when she ruled that not only do you have to show that there was a potential inappropriate comment or inappropriate conduct by the former clerk of court, but that it influenced their jury verdicts. The defense says that they should have applied the federal standard, which is all you have to show is the inappropriate communication or inappropriate conduct by Becky Hill, and you do not have to show the corresponding effect that it would have on the jury. There's also other appellate issues they're going to hear, which is the evidentiary issues on the financial crimes being admitted, and he claimed that the trial should have never taken place in Walterboro and he should have gotten a change of venue. But the clear constitutional issue is going to be on the standard applied by former Chief Justice. And if he loses in our Supreme Court, he's taking this all the way up. Alex has nothing but time. He'll be in jail for a prison for the rest of his life for the financial crimes that he was pled guilty to. So he has nothing but time, and this is going to be his recreation, which is burdening the legal system with continuing appeals.
Eric, curious what you think. I feel like the million-dollar question, so many people who follow this case all around the world, I'm sure listeners to your podcast, Cup of Justice, have asked you, do you really think it's likely that the court could overturn his convictions? I mean, your legal opinion on how likely it is that that could happen?
It's probably very close. You know, I believe he's guilty. I believe that there was overwhelming evidence, irrespective of the financial crimes. I think his behavior, his lies, the circumstantial evidence was strong of guilt. But for our system to work, it's got to work for the worst of us, not just the best of us. And Alex, even though he is the worst of us, is entitled to a fair and impartial trial. And if it is shown that this clerk of court tried to influence the jury for whatever reason, whether it was for a book or other reasons to see that he was guilty, and that Justice Toll should have applied the Supreme Court standard, then I would support the reversal. I think she did apply a correct standard, but, you know, in my career, if there's a United States Supreme Court on point, and somebody has a constitutional right to a fair and impartial jury under the Constitution, he may end up getting a new trial.
Wow. Eric, just to think about another trial happening, we know some of the biggest pieces of evidence would be introduced over
horrific.
again. The cell phone video from Paul's cell phone, arguably the key to the case. Let's look back at that clip together now.
Get back. Get back. Quit, Cash. Come on. Quit. That's okay. Come here. Come on, Dad. Come here, Cash. Come here. Post it. Cash.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Hey, Bubba.
It's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
And Eric, as we know, this video blew up his alibi. You know, unbeknownst to him, he was on that recording. I mean, this did it. If he were to get another trial, do you think we would see him still going with that alibi of I was at mom's house and I didn't do this?
He even if he doesn't, it'll be used against him. These are prior admissions. Whether he goes forward with there was a different theory and continues to go with the two-shooter theory. Look, they've seen how the prosecution has tried their case. They will modify it a little bit. Maybe he won't go on the witness stand. He obviously did that at the advice given to him by his attorneys. So we would see possibly a different defense. I don't think we're going to see much of a different prosecution now. Whether Judge Newman is the trial judge coming back, if there's a new trial, I doubt he would be. Another judge may not let in all the financial crimes, but that video and his behavior after he called the police at 10:07 p.m. and having totally clean clothes after claiming hugging and grabbing his son, who was full of blood and dirt, and all the admissions he made to the police officers during his first interview, I think he's going to get convicted again. But again, Julie, we need to have a system that's fair for the worst. And if Justice Toll applied the wrong standard, and it's proven that Becky Hill made statements that went beyond ministerial statements of what do you want for lunch, how do you get to and fro court, then he would get a new trial. But remember, there's only one witness who said that she said those statements. The 6 jurors I represent, not just 4, they testified and said they never heard her say anything other than ministerial comments. So will the Supreme Court believe one person over the other 11 who testified and said nothing untoward was said?
Oh, wow, that's a great point, Eric. That's a really great point. And of course, I'm in agreement with you. If his constitutional rights were violated, if his right to a fair trial was violated, absolutely, he deserves a fair trial. As you said, the system has to work for all of us, even the worst of us, and he is arguably the worst of us here in America. Eric, last question for you, please. We know that he's appealing his federal financial crimes case after he pleaded. And I think that's puzzled a lot of people. You know, he pleaded, he got a 40-year sentence there, stealing from millions of his clients, some of those clients, you represent. He's saying that his sentence was 10 years more than the statutory recommendation and too harsh under the Constitution. That's his defense team's legal argument. What do you say to that?
I think it's just not a good argument. He pled guilty. He knew what he was pleading into. His attorney waived any arguments that were going to be made. The judge gave 45 days advance notice of an upward enhancement was going to be done. And his crime was so unique. I think it's not cruel and unusual under the 8th Amendment. I think the Fourth Circuit's going to reject it outright.
Eric Bland, always great having your legal expertise. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. We'll see you soon and hear you on Cup
Anytime.
of Justice. Take care.